Hello guys, and welcome back to the STPL. My name is Kix. Joining me is Rapid, who should appear in just a second. But we are watching NetWars versus White Clan. It's the finals of round 2. And it's been kind of crazy so far. We've had two very quick games to start us off. Two unfortunately failed cheeses, some very snap decision making by both Pharmacy and Ho, giving White Clan a 2-0 lead at the moment.
I don't think I appeared in just a second, so for some reason I'm still invisible, but I promise I'm still here. So
there you are.
Yeah, it is a very impressive start for White Clan. I would say that neither of the players that they were playing against really showed up to what I believe their full potential could have been. Obviously, NetWars is an incredibly talented clan with very many strong players, but yeah, really just going for early, not cheesy strategies, but definitely not, these big macro defensive kind of styles that we've seen from them before. So, I don't know. Our next game coming up should be actually really sick because both players, specifically NetWars, have been very strong in a specific case.
Yep, now let's actually have a look at who those players are going to be. So for NetWars this time we have Yeti stepping in, the highest ranked player in the STPL so far. He is currently, I almost did maths on stream, I think it's 13 for 2, so I can count 6 plus 7, go me. But he's done an incredible job. He is very, very good at PvP as well. He's 6 for 2, a 75% win rate against Protoss. And that's just insane.
Oh yeah, it actually is ridiculous. So you really cannot count this guy out. Specifically Troy, the map that we're playing on, is just an incredible PvP map, one that Yeti knows really how to exploit super well. So I'm expecting a very strong performance here, but I guess we'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, so he's going to be up against First. Now First, a little bit more active in round 1. He hasn't played in round 2 so far. He did go 0 for 2 last round, so not one of White's strongest players, but certainly a strong player nonetheless. According to the stats, he's 1 for 1. So there's a little bit of an error in the database somewhere, so I'll fix that at some point. But still, a good Protoss opponent for Yeti here. This could be NetWars' chance, statistically at least, to find their way onto the table as we head on over to Troy. Now Troy, a 4-player map, has the more common in Gold Rush these days from ASL 4, the 2 assimilators that you can destroy and block your enemy into an island. Now PvP, we've had 8 of them in round 2. This is going to be the 9th, so very much a PvP map. We've seen a lot of different styles, a lot of different games, some quick ones, some long ones. But it's going to be very, very cool to see how Yeti does here against First as we move on to our 3rd game of the playoff finals for round 2. It's NetWars versus White. And down here in the bottom right hand corner of your screen we have fighting for NetWars. It's going to be in the orange. It's Yeti.
First thing, just go. So we are going to go for it. This is going to be Yeti starting off in the bottom right, and his opponent in the bottom left, in the red, is White Clan's player First. So I actually don't recall too many of First games, even though I did probably cast maybe 1 or 2 of them before, but I've cast certainly many of Yeti's games. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him play here. Now, this is Troy, right? So we've got assimilator shenanigans, and I think that's something that Protoss players specifically really have to either respect and use to their advantage, or just go big air right off the bat with shuttles and Corsairs and try to win it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a few games, well, I've played a lot of games on this map. We've also seen some incredible games on here. We see the airplay very strong, the use of shuttles very, very important, and of course it is a PvP. So that airplay is almost... you don't see it as much in a lot of maps, but more recently we saw it on Sparkle in the ASL Season 5, so there is a lot of experience with both of these players from at least either seeing it or playing a game with air. So whether or not we're going to get to that point is going to be decided with how this plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this could just, I mean, not totally do it, but I mean, an 0-2 start is definitely not what NetWars is either used to or wants.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this looks. Yeti scouting, of course, the incorrect direction. Same thing with First, but I think First will have information, well, first, or before Yeti will.
Yeah, so Yeti has seen First coming in. Now, both of them, because they scouted in the wrong direction, I mean, they both actually arrived at the base very, very similar timings. It's actually going to be kind of hard to figure out exactly where each other have spawned. Now, it looks like Yeti is going to go to the top left, so he is scouting in the wrong direction. Meanwhile, First is going in the right one. He's going to see these two gates coming in for Yeti here.
Yeah, maybe Yeti couldn't tell exactly from the timing exactly when First or where First was starting out. So he'll get a much later scout, and for First, this really just tells him everything that he needs to know, and that is one of the biggest differences between players who are just good and players who are just really good, is what they can tell based on what they see, or sometimes based on what they don't see.
Yeah, now it looks like we're going to have First not making the same mistake we've seen many times before in the STPL. Did scout that second gateway, so after his call, he's added another gate. He's not going to play a risky game here. He wants to be safe. He wants to show that defensive style he did use previously in the STPL as well. So it's kind of interesting that because Yeti scouted so late, First Zealots are actually in position, so Yeti is going to be going into this completely blind.
Yeah, Yeti has no idea what to expect here, and I mean, it's not a super big mystery, right? But the problem with these assimilators is that in order to defend them with Zealots, it's not just enough to block the entrance. You actually have to move up and around the actual physical assimilator, and that's going to expose these Zealots to a wider surface area. Look at what Yeti is doing. He's got surface area on White's, or on First Zealots, so he's going to be able to take them out pretty well here, get on top of not only the Zealot blocking at the entrance, but also the Dragoon, and get the probe in so he'll be able to scout and see everything that's happening.
Yeah, this is a huge, huge moment. We could actually see some probes going down here from First as well, and Yeti with a very strong push in at the beginning. He should just kill that Zealot. I'm not sure he realizes how low it is. Because if he can get that Zealot, he's going to have a huge, huge advantage as we move further into this game. Now, we don't see a stream of Zealots coming in from Yeti, and Yeti's not going to be able to get that Zealot. A very nice probe drill here by First. Going to kill this second Zealot off before any probes can go down.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Focusing that Zealot definitely would have been the better option. I felt like Yeti was going a little bit overzealous in there, no pun intended, but I mean, there were Dragoons out, so First was always going to clear that out. So, now there's no pressure on the assimilators, and no real pressure at all coming out of Yeti, and so First should feel absolutely fantastic. And, one of the hardest things to do in a PvP is throw down a Nexus, and Yeti's done it. So yeah, he'll be the one actually forced now into a very defensive position trying to hold on.
Now the scary thing is we see the Citadel was coming up for First, but did Yeti click on that building? I can only assume he did, but there is a Templar Archives coming in right now, and if we don't see an observatory very soon by Yeti, we could see a very, very quick game.
I mean, he's got a robo, so the observatory is going to come down instantly. I mean, you just guaranteed lose the DTs here, so you almost guaranteed have to. Either it would have been that or cannons and a forge, and he doesn't have a forge, so.
Yeah. Meanwhile, First actually does. So First is going to be the one playing defensive again. He's got the forge. We'll see him throw down a pylon, which he's done at the front of his expansion. We should see a cannon coming in here as well. And there we go.
I mean, I wouldn't say going DTs is playing defensively, but you're right. The forge is definitely going to kind of lend himself to that. But, yeah. If this does go longer, Yeti's got the earlier Nexus. So that is going to be completing right about now. Whereas on the other side, First Nexus isn't even halfway done.
Yeah, it's about a third of the way through now. We see that observatory's done, and we see Yeti being a little bit cheeky. He's going into the Citadel himself. Now, whether or not this is just going to be for Zealot leg speed is yet to be discovered. He could decide to go into High Templar. Oh my god, he doesn't actually have an observer at the front of his base. There's a DT in the mineral line, and it's taken on 3 probes already. Oh, and there's the observer.
Yeah, eventually it will go down. So yeah, it sucks to lose 3 probes, but it's not, you know, critical, ultra, super mega damage. And keep in mind, the Nexus is it's going to take several more seconds to even complete for first. So
Yeah.
it should still be an economic advantage for Yeti, but that was damage done. I mean, we can't get it twisted. I mean, that DT still does now have soft map control. And, I mean, Yeti hasn't really been able to kind of mount any more offenses after losing those first early zealots.
Yeah, now for a second I got really worried because Yeti decided to send out his observer to scout the middle of the map. Now of course this is a very strong option for him, but I thought for a minute that it left without leaving an observer back at home, but an observer just pulled up, so the DT not going to be able to do any further damage, and the observer may not even be able to get in, needs to be careful of this turret.
DT poking in, good control there by first, just perfectly scouting the edge of that. Now, honestly, right now, if Yeti moved out, there's no hope, and he should know this. He knows there's no hope of any observers from his opponent, right? So if he does commit to this DT tech, he knows that his opponent has cannons for defense. You can kind of think this thought through, and it's something Yeti's probably done a million times because he's so good in this matchup, specifically on the map.
Oh,
so
and
you can think, hey, if I kill the cannons, maybe there's a shot at just totally taking out the natural.
Now I know in Korea Artosis is probably tucked up safely in bed, but right now he is having nightmares because we're gonna have a DT drop coming in from Yeti. I think he's gonna go for a DT drop into the main, and that's gonna be a strong option. There is a cannon in the mirror line, but there's gonna be 2 zealots to tank it.
Yeah, you have to know that he's just gonna bomb in with that shuttle. It's like a cannon bulldog, where you just drop right on top of it, you focus down the cannon immediately, and even though there's an observatory on the way, he should actually be able to kill the observatory before it even ever comes up. Or just focus down the robo, one or the other. Both just beautiful options here. Yeti, very, very strong play here. Shuttle coming in at just about the best time, and immediately, First is going to see this coming through here, but what's the reaction?
Yeah, looks like he's pulled some of his probes at least. He's very oversaturated in his main, but there we go. There is that Bulldog you were mentioning. He's going to drop the DTs, drop the Zealots. He's having trouble focusing down the cannon. The probe drill has been insane! But
oh my god, but yeah, the DT swipe is really what kind of does it in there. Now, thankfully, the observatory is completed. The observer is being built. It's on the way. But
he's focusing down the Nexus.
He's actually going to try to kill the Nexus. Now, that's probably going to not work out. The Dragoons have finally found their way up the ramp. But he's getting
storm drop on the other side.
There is a storm drop coming through. How damaging will it be? The Nexus will fall here. Oh no. Oh no, not the storms. Not like this.
Oh, he doesn't have storm finish yet.
Wait, what? Did he forget storm?
Yeah, storm's just started. He forgot storm.
No way. Oh my god.
That has gotta feel horrible. Oh, it's like dropping tanks or like vultures and forgetting mines or something.
Oh my god. That would have been 20 probe kills.
Yeah,
easily.
That's so many probes at that natural expansion. I mean, the High Templars are going to get away, but this is such a huge deficit now for First. He is going to be highly oversaturated on his one base. He's going to have to maybe build a third Nexus, but he can't afford it. His economy is in shambles right now.
Oh, it's terrible. He can't even mine from his main. He should not have, almost not have probes there.
Wait.
So I think he's going to try to all in after this. He will have storm when this all in hits theoretically, but at first it's just in shambles. Like what a complete failure.
Yet he doesn't have that many units back home.
He's got DTs though.
Good point. But where are they?
All he has to do is kill the observer and he wins. So
that's a good point. And here we go. Oh, it looks like we're gonna have a storm drop coming into the main with a DT as well. But let's keep an eye on the main army. This is going to be. If it works for your opponent, why not make it work for you as well? There's no observer back here. As a matter of fact, he's going to try and snipe the pylon to stop the production of Yeti. For the most part, the probes have been pulled immediately. And it looks like we're going to have... Oh, there is an observer there. It's just blending in. Yeah. And there we go. The DT is going to be completely stopped.
I mean, not completely. It did deal a lot of damage to that pylon, so it will be at risk. But yeah, there is an observer here. The DT is going to go down in the main for First. Granted, he does have storm up, and that's going to be super, super strong.
Oh, that's a strong storm. And he's going for the natural as well. He's going for the probes while he does this, and there's the storm.
Oh.
There's the storm.
Yeah.
That's 5 kills, 7 kills. Wow, that's a lot of probes going down for Yeti, but all of First Army is being completely annihilated.
Yeah, the High Templar are going to go down there as well, and there's no way First could reproduce that. His economy was just hit so hard. So I think this is where Yeti pushes across the map for the win. I think this is where he does it. There are only a few cannons. There's only one at the front and then one behind the middle line.
The probes are being pulled. Here we go. But Archons are pretty good against probes.
They certainly are, Kicks. Your analysis impeccable as always. Look at Yeti, man. What a god. Now, to be fair, huge blunder by First. So massive punishment by Yeti. But Yeti set himself up to be in that position of success. So you do have to give him some credit for dealing critical damage at very critical points. And now moving across the map, he'll be able to wipe out this natural expansion. With it, most likely put NetWars on the board.
Yeah, because even if First manages to pull back into his main, I mean, you could see the assimilators go down, but I think Yeti should probably just push in for the win now. There's going to be so few units back here to defend. And I mean, it looks like First is going to try and hold on, but this is just way too many units. It looked like he tried to go for another storm drop, but the cannons at the natural did manage to clean that up before too many probes go down. And Yeti has done it. They've done what IRK couldn't. They've put a win on the board. It's GG! And Yeti takes down First in that PvP.
Man, you really have to give this guy some credit. What a massively well-played game there by Yeti. Now, it's with that caveat, right? Like, what if Yeti had just lost 20 probes and hadn't killed the Nexus, right?
Yeah.
I mean, things could have been totally different. So, not the greatest game, some mistakes on both sides, but Yeti putting a win on the board, like you said, is still something that our semifinals team could not do. So, NetWars bring it back. They bring the series to a 2-1 score, and they're going to bring us to a short break before we get into game number